palace, Meghan was still struggling to settle in. Purposefully, she had isolated herself from many former friends, including Gina Torres and other Suits actors. There was one noticeable exception. She had not distanced herself from John Fitzpatrick. Why exactly was she not distancing herself from him? And again, why is Marcus Anderson still running around? There's these men in her life that she keeps having relationships with, and I find it exceptionally strange. It's not weird to me that she would have relationships with men, because men are the ones who will buy what she's selling, and women are like, we'll put up with it for a little while. But then eventually they realize she's a snake. But it's weird to me which men she keeps in her life. Marcus Anderson, John Fitzpatrick, and both of these men have been question marks for me. I mean, Marcus Anderson most especially. But John Fitzpatrick, I also felt like she was very clearly escorting him around town. They had some kind of weird relationship. He's way older than her. And he also is known for giving like lots of very expensive gifts to the young women that he is frequently seen around town. And it kind of seemed like a real sugar daddy, sugar baby type situation. I don't know why she still thinks she needs this guy in her life. It seems like she has reached an echelon where she doesn't still need that. But maybe his connections, she didn't want to let go of his connections because he did have political connections. And I used to laugh and scoff at the idea that Meghan wanted to get into politics, because I was like, how could that ever be anything she would want to do? She struggles so much every time it's time for her to give a speech. She has nothing new to say. I was like, I can't even imagine her wanting to have to do the work that would be involved in being a politician, because she wants to just dress up and be pretty. But then when I see her trying to maintain ties with the political elite of the US, I'm starting to wonder if that's just another echelon of celebrity to her, or if that's really an intentional goal someday to run for office. She is functioning with one brain cell if she thinks anybody would ever vote for her, but whatever. Anyway, back to John Fitzpatrick. She continued to have him in her life. And he reports that after seeing Meghan, once she had been married to Harry, once she had been in the royal family for about 6 months, he'd gone to go see her, and he said he was amazed to see the difference in Meghan. After visiting her at the palace, white-gloved footmen stood with John Fitzpatrick while he waited for her arrival. And then when Meghan came in, her greeting was very formal, and it wasn't anything like he'd experienced with her before. But they got the staff out of there. They were excused. And then the veil comes down, and then she's like her normal self. Fitzpatrick said that he whispered sort of conspiratorially to her, "How long have we got?" And she looks at her watch and says, "We've got exactly 29 minutes. And then they relaxed and the gossiping begins, and they're just like two old pals back from the old times. And then at the allotted time, the staff returned, and Meghan's formal look, she puts her mask back on, and she goes and, now she's Duchess Meghan. I mean, the picture that's painted is like she has nothing, she's not allowed to run her own program at any point, and that she's, they give her 29 minutes to visit an old friend. Meghan, if that's really true, then why aren't you ever doing any royal duties? If you ask me, she said to her staff, "I don't want to hang out with this guy for too long. So let's just do it for about 30 minutes and then come and get me." Because it doesn't make sense. What is she doing with all those other half hours of her life, since she only does one royal engagement every month? So what exactly is she up to? Please. I don't believe this for a minute. But American girlfriends who visited Meghan in Kensington Palace also found a troubled woman. Cooped up in Nottingham Cottage, she complained that there was no staff to prepare meals. No one treated her as a royal. Oh, but Meghan, you love to cook. Remember? You had a whole blog about what a great cook you were. All you can ever do is talk about how much you love food. See, Meghan, she likes to eat the food, but she's not real into making the food. We saw that on the Vanity Fair article when she runs down to the supermarket and gets a couple of quiches to serve for lunch. It's that's the easiest thing of all time to make. You make a pie crust and you throw some eggs and vegetables into the pie crust and you bake it. That's beyond you. And who exactly is she having to cook so much for? It's her and Harry. It's not like you've got a pack of 17 kids rushing to the table. It's not a mom and pa kettle type scenario. Why in the world is this so difficult for you? But she always looked miserable, said her American girlfriends. And she also was devastated because she said she was the most trolled person in the world. People in the media were telling lies about her. And her friends said it was really damaging her mental and emotional health. One cause of the difficulties was her reluctance to take on traditional royal duties. Well, yeah, if all you have to do all day long is read the bad press about you, no wonder you're depressed. Even if there wasn't all this bad press about you, if you spend all of your life thinking about yourself, that's just really draining and boring. But here's the thing. In an effort to be really fair, I can only imagine how crushing it would be if you were constantly being maligned everywhere you turned. Because so far, everything in the media about her has been pretty nitpicky. She's given people reason to feel that way. So I don't want to say, out of the random blue, all these people are coming after Meghan. It just doesn't make sense. She deserves everything she's getting. Well, I don't want to say everything because a lot of people are really mean. But she's brought on a lot of criticism by her own actions. And then she wants to be offended and upset about it. Even so, even if she's brought it on herself, sitting there reading all the hundreds and thousands of people and on social media and all the people who want to bring her low, I can only imagine how devastating that would be for your mental health. That's really bad for you to sit there and consume negative information about you. With that said, you have a choice. Nobody is coming to you, pinning your eyeballs open and forcing you to read, Nobody's saying you have to do that. But she's choosing to do it and then complaining that it's so hard for her. Well, then make different choices. One of the choices she's not making is to work and to distract herself from the reality that people don't like her, and they might like her better if they saw her doing something that was helpful to others. Because by the early December in 2018, okay, remember, she's been married like 6 months now. Early December 2018, she has only completed 8 royal duties. Since the summer. You've only done 8 things. It's December already. That's like, my mind is blown. What is she doing with her time? For somebody who's up at 5 a.m. so she can email her staff about this, that, and the other, what are you doing all day? If you're up from 5 in the morning and then you're like going to bed really late because you're so busy scrolling, crawling the internet for all the times that your name's been mentioned. It's like, other than looking at your phone, what are you doing? Now, these 8 royal engagements included the Trooping the Color and the Remembrance Day service, and damaging stories appeared in the newspapers. The Sun offered the revelation that Meghan had been very excited at her Jamaican wedding, that each guest had received a gift bag with 5 spliffs of cannabis. I mean, we know that to be old news. But this is the first time it was being reported. So alongside the fact that she's not doing anything with the royal family, now we're getting lots of color from her past life. And people are just wondering, what in the world is this girl about? That evening, she made a surprise appearance at the British Fashion Awards at the Royal Albert Hall. She came attired to be controversial because she comes in an off-the-shoulder black Vinci gown with matching black painted fingernails. All right, just on the surface, all right? Pull your dress up on your shoulders and you don't wear black fingernail polish, okay? There's certain ways that a duchess is supposed to conduct herself. This is a appearance as a royal, right? And she does things that she knows are going to get a reaction so that then she can sit around and be mad about it. This happens constantly and continually. Meghan told her audience, "It's such an honor to be here celebrating British fashion and British fashion designers in my new home of the UK." But somebody wondered, if you love it so much, then why aren't you wearing clothes from a British fashion designer? For once, could you not compromise? Could you not have worn a British design dress? She's so tone deaf. It's just her way or the highway. She never considers what she's doing, regardless of the fact she wants us all to believe she does. Soon after the event, Meghan's photo on the British Fashion Council's Instagram site was deleted. I don't know what that means, other than the fact that they didn't want her to be a representative on their Instagram page anymore, because it was incongruent. Why are you coming and celebrating British fashion, but you don't even have the common decency to wear something from one of the designers that are being celebrated? She's constantly trying to be offensive. How could she not have known that that would be annoying to people? Can she not put two and two together? Is it this hard for her? Can she really not anticipate that criticism, or does she want that criticism? So don't come to me saying it's so hard, I'm the most trolled person, when you go out constantly trying to be underhanded and controversial and then being like, how dare you notice? I should be allowed to do whatever I want.